Caring for other people can be an extremely rewarding and important role that people take on. However, it can also put you at high risk for compassion fatigue and burnout. In today's video, we're going to be talking about compassion fatigue and caregiver burnout and what you can do to prevent it from happening. Hi everyone. Do you find that you take care of other people? I don't just mean this in the context of a parent taking care of a child, but it can take the role of lots of different types of relationships. It can be adult children taking care of their elderly parents. You can take care of people as part of your work if you're a medical professional, for example, doctors, nurses, therapists, psychologists, service professionals like firefighters, police, other first responders, folks who work with the elderly in long-term care homes, or who work with young children in daycares or at schools. There are lots of different ways in which we can be placed in caring or caregiving roles, in which other people rely and depend on us. And while this is really important, it can be fraught with risk and burnout, and that's what we're going to be focusing on in today's video. But before I get into that, just a couple of disclaimers to go over. I'm a registered psychologist in the province of British Columbia, Canada, and this video is for informational purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute or replacement for advice from your doctor or mental health professional. Now, with those things out of the way, let's start talking about compassion fatigue and burnout. I want you to think about the following question. Why do you care about other people? Why do you want to take care of or help others? Well, there's lots of reasons you can probably think of. You love the person and you want to honor them. You have compassion for others and want to treat them with dignity. You feel a sense of duty and responsibility. You get a sense of reward and feel good about yourself knowing that you're helping other people. You might feel it's a calling and a vocation that you're drawn to. These are all very good reasons to want to help people. They're all very noble desires, and serving other people is usually considered a very good thing. We're often raised with ideals around wanting to help other people, take care of others, serve other people. So I think we can all agree that taking care of others, doing things to help other people, is a good thing. And in order to do this, sometimes it means that we need to put the needs of others ahead of ourselves. If we see someone who's struggling and having a difficult time, we may put aside what we want or what we want to do to ensure that we're there for that other person. So it's important to recognize that taking care of others, being there for other people who need help and support, that comes at a cost. Now, that's not to say it's a bad thing, but it's important to recognize that caregiving tends to expend energy. It takes energy out of you. Now, let's imagine a scenario. Imagine a woman with a couple of children, her husband and her elderly parents. Over the years, she's always viewed herself as the one that made sure that everyone is okay. She helps the children with their homework. She makes sure that they're able to get around to their extracurricular activities. She serves as a sounding board for them whenever they're having problems with their friends or just navigating the social landmines of being in high school. And she gets a great sense of reward and enjoyment from caring for and nurturing her children this way. At the same time, she's supporting her husband, who has his own business and works really long hours for the good of the family, which she really appreciates. Due to the nature of his work and long hours, it means that she has to take on more responsibility and duties around the house, but she's willing to do that because she wants to support and help her husband and the family more generally. At the same time, she's also aware that her parents are getting older, and so she checks in on them regularly, making sure that they're getting to their doctor's appointments and that they remember to take all of their medications each day. She may help them with grocery shopping once a week and visits them regularly because she knows how much they appreciate seeing her. She has a wonderful relationship with her parents and doesn't view it as a burden, but something that's really important and really meaningful to her. At the same time, she's also the one that all of her friends come to because she's a really good listener and always makes herself available to support her friends whenever they're going through a difficult time. She makes sure that she makes time for her friend who recently got divorced because she knows her friend is going through a hard time and she wants to be there as a support person to help her friend through that challenging time. What would you think about a person like this? Well, we probably think she's a pretty remarkable person. She clearly cares about others. She's compassionate, wanting to help, and wanting to make sure that other people are taken care of. She's a wonderful person, and it's likely that all of the people in her life that she is serving sees her as the wonderful person that she is. So you might be asking, what's the problem? She enjoys doing all of these things. The people in her life really appreciate what she's doing, and she gets a sense of reward out of doing it. It's a win-win-win situation. Except, remember what I mentioned before. Taking care of other people takes energy. If we had unlimited resources, unlimited time, unlimited energy, this wouldn't be a problem. However, human beings aren't like that. Our level of energy, our resources are finite, and our gas tanks can get drained over time. So unfortunately, what typically happens is that a person starts out as a caregiver, happily serving and doing things to help other people, feeling a sense of reward and satisfaction doing it. But over time, that takes a toll, and the person's fuel tank starts to get drained. And as this happens, the more the fuel tank gets drained, the more tiring, the more of a burden, the more of a hassle these caregiving responsibilities become. The person doesn't feel that same sense of reward and pleasure from taking care of others because they're now starting to feel worn out and exhausted by taking care of people. And as this goes on and on and on, eventually what happens is that person who started out really caring and loving and wanting to honor these people that they were taking care of, they start to see those people as burdens, as needy, as draining, and exhausting. They begin to resent the people that they started out caring for. Their compassion is exhausted. This is caregiver burnout. It's when that caregiving, serving, helping role wears down the caregiver to the point that they don't want to care anymore. It's hard to be in a caring role when you resent the person you're caring for. It's hard to want to help other people when you see them as a burden on you. It's hard to care when your compassion is drained. So that example that we were talking about, that wonderful woman who was taking care of her children, helping her husband, supporting her parents, being there for her friends, she may end up bitter and angry at her children, resentful and frustrated by her husband never being around, drained and annoyed by her parents not being able to figure out how to use their iPad, and so sick and tired of her friend complain about being lonely after her divorce. She starts to feel detached and disconnected from these people who she started out caring for and loving. And how did she get there? She got there by caring and loving, but too much. Kind of a weird concept that you can care for someone too much that it actually becomes damaging and harmful. But that's kind of what happens in compassion fatigue and caregiver burnout. So the question becomes, what can you do to prevent something like this from happening? Is it just the case that all caregivers will eventually burn out? Is there anything we can actually do about this? I like to explain the solution by using a metaphor. If you've ever traveled on a plane, you know what happens when you're taxiing away from the gate and you're approaching the runway to take off. During that time, they go over the safety features of the airplane. Where are the emergency exits, where the life jackets are, what to do in the case of a water landing, those types of things. And one of the things they talk about is that in the event of cabin depressurization, an oxygen mask will drop down from the ceiling above you. And do you remember the very next thing that they say? They always say, put your oxygen mask on first, and then help those around who may need assistance in getting their oxygen masks on. Notice, they don't say, make sure that everyone around you is taken care of. Make sure that everyone has their mask on and that they're okay before you put your mask on. And why is that? Why shouldn't we make sure that everyone else is okay before we put our oxygen mask on? Well, if you take all the time to make sure that everyone has their mask on and that they're okay, in that time you may run out of oxygen and you may pass out. And if you pass out, you're of no benefit to anyone. You can't help anyone if you're unconscious. So you put your mask on first to ensure that you can be in a position to help other people. Now, relating this to compassion fatigue and burnout, as counterintuitive as it sounds, the key to preventing burnout is to make sure that you're taking care of yourself at the same time that you're taking care of others. In other words, you're not putting the needs of other people as a priority over taking care of yourself. So what does this mean? Well, it means that you do things for you, and sometimes that comes at the expense of other people. In the example, it could mean that the woman gets her children to take the bus home from school rather than her skipping her exercise class in order to go pick them up. It could be that she insists that they go out for dinner once a week as a family, so she's not having to take on the cooking responsibility every single day. It could be that she sees her parents every other week rather than driving out to see them every week so that she can go for a hike with a friend. It could be that she establishes some boundaries with her friend who's going through a divorce and lets the friend know that they can get together for coffee once every couple of weeks, but she can't be available every other night for an hour-long telephone call. Preventing compassion fatigue and caregiver burnout means that you recognize you're human, and that despite there being lots of need in the world, you realistically don't have the capacity to eliminate all of those needs. You can't serve everyone. You can't be there for everyone. Sometimes it means that you have to put your needs and put what you want ahead of the needs of others. And in doing so, you recharge your battery a bit. And then you're able to be there and help in a more sustainable way. So, just to be clear, I'm not saying that the solution to compassion fatigue and caregiver burnout is to stop caring about other people. What I'm saying is the way to prevent compassion fatigue and burnout is to ensure that you are one of the people that you're taking care of. And sometimes that means you have to make yourself a priority. You have to put your mask on first before you help others get their mask on. I'd love to hear any thoughts or comments that you have about this, so please leave me some comments in the comments section down below. If you've been enjoying my videos and would like to see more, please hit that subscribe button and notification bell, and you'll be alerted every week when I post a new video. So that's all for today's video. As always, thank you for making it all the way to the end of this video, and I will see you in the next one.